Football.
Hello and welcome one and all to the show that is all ball. It's the Football Ball podcast. I'm Zack, also known as Mr. Stateside by almost nobody. But regardless, I'll be your host. And today we are diving into the world's most popular sport and its most popular and competitive league. It is football, aka soccer, and it's the Premier League. So before we jump into the season that is, start understanding who the real competitors are, who are the contenders. Let's take a look back at the last season, the 2024-2025 season. So stick around. We'll hear more about Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, their performances, their comparison to American football teams, and some other funny and relevant moments. But first,
Yeah, man, what the hell's a fullback in sockball?
let's not get into the confusion of football and football Americano just yet and how their positions are named the same and may have some other crossover. As one season concludes, another begins. As I said, let's take some time to reflect on the 2024-25 Premier League season. What promised to be a thrilling roller coaster instead became an absolute runaway train, with Liverpool clinching the title by a commanding 10 points. To gain valuable insights on the future, we'll examine the top three finishers: Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester City. Join us as we dissect these key statistics and narratives that shaped their campaigns. But, if we're going to jump in and explain some statistics and key stats, we need to discuss two advanced stats. And don't worry, as a product of the Texas education system, my attention span isn't very long. We'll just cover two, and as we go throughout the season, we may be using some more, but the two big ones that we'll need to focus on are expected goals, XGA, and expected goals against. Let's start with expected goals. XG, right? Expected goals. It's obviously a football soccer statistic that tells us a lot about the probability of a shot becoming a goal. Think of it this way. For every shot that's taken in a game, XG gives us a number between 0 and 1, with a value closer to 1 being a shot that had a higher chance to score or go in, while a shot with a value closer to 0 probably won't. So, quick example, penalty kick. Player, keeper, not that far out. That XG should be pretty high, somewhere around 0.75 or higher. That's because it's a great scoring opportunity. A shot from 20 yards out, though, might only have an XG of 0.03 because not only is it a difficult shot to take, but there is a lot of things in the way that can prevent it from being a successful shot. So why is this useful? XG helps us understand if a team was lucky or unlucky in a game. Imagine a team wins 1-0, but their total XG for the game was only 0.5. That means they probably didn't create many good chances and were lucky to score on a low probability or many low probability shots. Interesting. Now, imagine a team loses 0-1. This all sounds pretty familiar to Americans. They never score, but for the example, the score was 0-1. Your team loses, but their XG was 2.5. This tells us they were actually playing really well, creating several high-quality scoring opportunities, but they just couldn't convert them. So basically, XG looks beyond the final score to show us the true quality of a team's offensive, comprehensive performance. It separates a team's performance from the actual results, something that we know across sport doesn't always jive. So, the flip side of that, XGA. So that stands for expected goals against. It's another statistic that measures the probability of a team conceding a goal instead of scoring it from the shots that they've allowed the opponents to take. So, XGA is essentially the opposite of XG. Instead of measuring how good a team's attack is, it measures how good their defense is at presenting quality scoring chances. Just like XG, Every shot the opponent takes is given a number between 0 and 1. So, a low quality XGA means the team's defense is doing a good job of limiting opposition to low quality shots from difficult positions. And a high XGA means the defense is allowing the opponent to take many high quality shots that are high probability to become goals. Comparing the team's XGA to their actual goals conceded tells us if they've been lucky or unlucky defensively. It provides a deeper look at the team's defensive performances by revealing the quality of chances they've given up, not just the final score. So, at the end of the year, you could not only just take the goals for and goals against from a team, you could also take the expected goals and the expected goals against. That would not only give you a comprehensive look at the actual performance of a team, but also the actual output of that team comparatively. All right, but enough of that. Let's get to the proper pod. All right, let's start at the top. Literally, the Premier League champions, Liverpool. And what a story it was. This was the post-Jurgen Klopp era, a historic German coach that really revitalized Liverpool. But in the last couple seasons, couldn't get it done, was running out of some juice as well. And there were questions everywhere with his departure. Is the only way to beat the defending four-time champions and their coach, the King Bald Fraud, is to get a bald Dutchman in Arne Slot? Could Arne Slot fill those shoes, clogs? Dutch jokes. Does their striker, Darwin, have a problem evolving as a player? Will we see more or less of their iconic Egyptian winger, Mohamed Salah? The answer, as it turns out, was a resounding yes. They found their answer in Arne Slot. They found someone in Mo Salah that was going to be able to step up for them in production. And Darwin did have some problem evolving. But regardless of all that, Liverpool won the Premier League, and that was their first title since the 2019-2020 season. And in doing so, added a historic record. They tied Manchester United for a 20th English League title. In the history of the competition, it now sits at Manchester United and Liverpool with 20 titles.
Say that again?
That's an incredible feat. So, how did they do it? Let's talk numbers. The team was a goal-scoring machine, bagging 86 goals in the league. Their main man, Mohamed Salah, led the charge with a mind-boggling 29 goals, and that earned him the highest score in the league, aka the Golden Boot. But it wasn't just about the offense. They had a solid defense. Virgil van Dijk and his team just allowed 41 goals across the league. And that was without their world-class Brazilian keeper, Alisson, for 10 of those games as well. But seeming to always step up the intensity when needed, even with or without Alisson and some of their key players, their defense really showed out and allowed them to put themselves in situations to win games. This was really shown and showcased by their away masterclass against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League quarterfinals in Paris. They shut them out, a team that went on to win it all, beating Arsenal in the process in the semifinals. And they actually won the game in a last-gasp masterclass performance by the thrifty Harley Elliott. 1-0 away in Paris with the Ultras and the pressure was a fantastic performance and something that they were willing and able to do when needed in most circumstances throughout the season. But let's talk about some of those advanced numbers, right? Because it even gets better. Their expected goals were 82.2, and they scored 86. Their expected goals against or allowed was 39, and they allowed just 41. What tells us is they're not just lucky, so we can stop the Liverpool talk.
Say that again?
They were statistically deserved winners. And to add insult to injury to most of the teams chasing them, From September 14th to April 6th, they had a historic 26-match domestic unbeaten run.
The invincible team.
And Slot, in his first season, delivered the ultimate prize. What a job by you, Mr. Clean. What's the NFL comparison, though, right? For my friends and fam, they may be the only ones watching, but actually care about some NFL to Premier League comparisons. Well, I got one for you, and it's a good one. The Philadelphia Eagles, right? Pretty easy. A return to glory for a team with a dedicated and loud fan base, easily beating out perennial contenders along the way to the Super Bowl, and then with a flourish, absolutely blowing the doors off the Kansas City Chiefs, who were going for a three-peat at the time. While Arsenal's no Kansas City Chief three-peat team, they still provide, along with the other teams, quite a challenge, one that Liverpool sized up to quite easily. They have a stacked team, just like Philadelphia Eagles. They have a new but statistically dominant head coach, just like the Philadelphia Eagles. And they have fans, lunatics, that will demand continued success and absolute loyalty from their players. Virgil van Dijk, Jalen Hurts, stand up. You're worthy ambassadors for two great blue-collar cities. Oops, almost forgot. Started off the first podcast missing one of the first segments. And I know you don't want to miss this. So, most memeable moments, right? We're talking about Liverpool, a team with high aspirations, with a historic unbeaten run that thought they could win it all. They could win the Premier League. They could win the two domestic cups. Hey, they could win the Champions League. They could have a historic season that has not been matched since Man City did it a few years ago. Something that their fans would relish throughout their history and lifetimes and tell their children about as they bounced them on their knee and watched Liverpool play Wrexham in a consequential game in the Premier League. Hopefully, Ryan Reynolds hopes as well. But as the season went on, and some of the quote-unquote failures stacked up, seemed like fans got a little bored and maybe a little jaded with some opportunities missed by their star player, Mo Salah, and a PK to send them to a Champions League quarterfinal, amongst other things. What did that boredom and jadedness turn into? Well, they decided to turn on their own. Instead of celebrating their long parade to the end of the Premier League season and taking home the trophy, the team, the media, got caught up in the Alexander transfer saga. Alexander Arnold quickly been with the team since he was a young kid. He's achieved everything from Champions League to Premier League to Cups with the team. And as one does as a professional athlete, when you think you've achieved everything, you can stay with the team forever and reap those benefits, or you can decide to leave Liverpool or your local market team that you decided to dedicate most of your life to and go to somewhere sunnier with more money
Pretty fucked up,
and maybe better players around you. And that's what Alexander Arnold wanted. He wanted to move to Real Madrid at the end of the year. And once Liverpool fans found out, they were extremely unhappy. Which, hey, as a sport fan, we all get it. But as a fan of a team that's not Liverpool, all of those fans, well, they really took time to relish into that, start the hate watch, start to see the ways they could turn that into memeable moments and throw it back into the reigning, I guess, future reigning champions, Liverpool's faces. So, most memeable moment, not a lot there. We can go into some other ones as well as Mo Salah. Forget all that noise. Fan base turning into their own. That's hilarious. On to the next one. Is your team lacking a star player? Does your defense feel outdated? Then you need the Klopp crate. Get a mysterious box of tactical genius delivered to your door. Limited time offer and shipping and handling do apply. The Klopp crate, now in the hands of Arne Slot. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about a team that's not too unfamiliar with being discussed second. It's Arsenal, the Gunners. so close and so far last year. The Gunners finished up as runners-up once again, but that doesn't tell the whole story. They also had a deep run in the Champions League and the EFL Domestic Cup. Fortunately, also so close, yet so far from achieving victory in those. It's another season of what-ifs for Mikel Arteta's squad. Hey, but their numbers, still pretty impressive. Yep, not as impressive as the offensive explosion of last year, but they still scored 69 goals. Their XG was 60. They outperformed it by 9. And 9, funnily enough, it was their highest score. Kai Havertz only started 21 of the 38 games. His heir apparents for scoring, Jesus, Saka, also injured down the home stretch, really hurt their chances, but that's life in sport. And honestly, to Arteta's credit, he rallied a defensive midfielder to step up in Moreno and lead a squad of non-strikers to still finish third total in goals for in the Premier League. Not too shabby. But really, defensively, that's where they made their money. They were an absolute rock. They had the best defensive league in the league, record in the league. I think I said that right. They had the best defensive record in the league, just in case, conceding 34 goals with an expected goals allowed of 34, lowest in the league. So what does all this mean? They performed well. They had fantastic performances on big stages. Thinking of Declan Rice scoring a couple free kicks against Real Madrid in London, absolutely electric. But the narrative was still frustration, and their sloppy play in critical moments. It wasn't just fantastic. There were also moments of absolute slop, moved them further and further from Liverpool. It's the almost season again. 3 years in a row, second place. Starting to hurt. What's the final piece of the puzzle for Arteta? Arsenal fans have to be asking themselves. Is it just a mentality shift? Whatever that means. Another year of progression with new signings like Yorkis. Across the pitch, they've got new people from goalie to striker. Or is there just something else missing for them to finally win the title? Well, speaking of what does it take to win a title, let's do our NFL comparison. The Buffalo Bills. Always the bridesmaid and never the bride. The memes and the dreams mixed together in a potent brew of never pulling off the big one, but providing a lot of humor and heartbreak along the way, depending on your perspective, of course. Newer fans also drawn to both teams. You watch Josh Allen play, smash mouth football style, lovable energy. Hey, you watch Saka play, right? He's an absolute nightmare on the right side for defenders and scores some absolute crackers, along as the aforementioned Rice with his crackers of free kicks against a historic Goliath in Real Madrid. But it always seems like when it comes to coaching and execution, they just never seem to be elite. There's always that wondering in the back of your mind if they're really going to pull it off this time. Heck, Buffalo Bills went to 4 Super Bowls and won not a one. So dark, but optimistic. It's our year. And there's always hope when you have great players like Josh Allen and Bukayo Saka. Just saying. Are you tired of finishing second? Do you yearn for glory? Introducing the Arteta Tactical Kit. It's a 6-step plan for a successful season with a special 7th step, just in case. Available at all sad sports stores, the Arteta Tactical Kit, because coming in second isn't good enough. All right, welcome back to the Football Ball Podcast. Now let's talk about the Kings who were unseated. Manchester City. After winning 4 consecutive titles, they finished in 3rd place. And for City, that's a drop-off. They were also runners-up in the FA Cup. Thank God for all the Arsenal fans out there, but this was certainly not the season we've come to expect from a Pep Guardiola side. Now, let's look at the numbers. They scored 72 goals in the league, a significant decrease from their usual. Erling Haaland, the Nordic nightmare, was still a major force, but his 22 league goals, good enough for third in the league, not good enough for Golden Boot, and not good enough to see them lift the Premier League trophy. Defensively, they conceded 44 goals. But as always with Pep, the passing stats were unreal. Yes, I didn't talk about passing this whole darn time, and that's for a good reason. If you're talking about passing, you're talking about the elite pass-making guru tacticians like Pep Guardiola. And their passing stats, they completed 23,000 passes. That's almost 3,000 more than any other team in the league. They're the pass kings, but it didn't translate to a title. So, the big question, what happened? Was it just a down year for them? Yes. Was the hunger gone after so many titles? Maybe. Are Liverpool and Arsenal finally catching up? Possibly. We saw moments of brilliance, but the consistency wasn't there. It sets up a fascinating narrative for the next season. The teachers become the students. The hunters become the hunted. And that takes us to our NFL comparison. The Kansas City Chiefs. Holland, Mahomes, they're as equally hated as they are feared from rival fans. And though their recent stats may not hold up to their younger, fantastic seasons and record setting performances, both teams and both players have still found a lot of success. Based on the continuity of their schemes, their coaching, their ownership, the Kansas City Chiefs have won 3 of the 5 last Super Bowls. And as I mentioned before, the Manchester Cityans have won 4 consecutive Premier League titles. And that was just before last year, the season we're currently covering. So they're a powerhouse. There may be a return to glory coming. They are a good comparison to the Kansas City Chiefs in that regard, as well as their recent historical dominance. But, deserve it or not, they also get a little bit of a bad rap, largely regarding how they're refereed and whether refs and those tasked with holding teams accountable do in fact like money, whether it be paid over or under the table.
Say that again?
Are you a professional footballer or attorney looking for a new challenge and a new Swiss bank account? Do you think you can win the Premier League every year until hydrogen leaves the atmosphere? Well, we're a team with a larger than usual budget, and that's larger than you can even imagine. Inquire now by asking for Pep. Manchester City will win it next year. Promisely. All right, welcome back to the final and packed segment of the Football Ball podcast. Thanks for sticking in if you made it this far, Mom. So, what about the teams that will be joining the Premier League? Hey, if you're new to the league, want to try something else out, putting your soccer boots on, then the old MLS standard we hold stateside, this is the sport and the league that will keep your attention. So, Americans, you likely have no connection to any of those former lords and ladies we discussed earlier, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. If you do, that's great. If you don't, though, well, let me tell you how you can start afresh with a new rooting interest that will keep your attention week in and week out. Fun options we got here. Fun options. The Premier League, just quickly, a little history lesson, right? It is a promotion relegation system, the whole English football system, right? If you've watched Wrexham, welcome to Wrexham. I'm sure you know about this. Premier League sits at the very tippity top. You can't be promoted from the Premier League. You can be promoted to the Premier League. And also you can be relegated from the Premier League. So we're going to be looking at the top 3. That's what we discussed earlier. And always the bottom 3, the mud fighters down at the bottom. Since it's the start of a new season, right? We can look at the projected bottom 3, and that's normally the teams coming into the league. They're normally at a disadvantage financially with infrastructure as well as many other factors. But regardless, some of them do stay up, and that's what you could be rooting for, right? Not only just success, winning games, but also staying up in the Premier League one more year, building a foundation for the future. So, what are those promoted teams? Well, up from the English Championship, we have Leeds United, Burnley, and Sunderland, right? They're aiming to stay up, and we'll be watching their progress throughout the whole year. What is progress for teams that just don't want to get relegated? That's a great question. Historically, the magic number of points throughout a season, right? Points, straightforward. Hockey fans, you'll get this. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss, right? 38 game season. If you tie all your games, that's 38 points. All right. The magic number, though, we're looking for to stay up historically, it's been about 40 points. Apologies, 40 points in 38 matches. Last year didn't quite live up to that expectation as far as needing 40 points, right? Tottenham, they had 38 points. They stayed up. They were fourth from the bottom. The other teams that were worse than them got demoted. Don't make fun of me, English people, but Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton, all teams below 30 points. So let's hope our newly promoted teams do better than those teams, but it's going to be a fun watch. We'll be here the whole time, keeping an eye on them. So pick one, ride with them. Pick one from the top, ride with them. But what you don't want to do is see your team end up on Welcome to Wrexham next season in the championship while Ryan Reynolds laughs as Wrexham scores on you again.
Pretty fucked up, huh?
They keep on doing it. They can't get away with it. But it's Hollywood. What are you going to do? All right. I said it was a packed segment. Let's go on to the next one.
Dude, that's not even cool.
All right. Yep. Hipster pick. Yeah, my favorite segment may not be heard by anybody at this point. Pretty long into the podcast, but that's okay. It's my favorite for now. We'll change it next week. What do hipsters do, right? Going against the grain, bringing back things that were maybe cool, maybe never cool, but they think it's cool. No one else is wearing them. Once people wear them, it's over. And I'm not going to just go, stock on this pick. I'm not going to say, hey, Liverpool to win the title again, Arsenal to finally pull it off, Man City to get back into the throne that they have so inhabited over the last half of a decade, right? Or decade. I'm going to pick something a little bit off the beaten path. So what's my prediction? I think a team that finished mid-table and had a surprising run at the end of the year, won some cups, right? And qualified for the Europa League. Now, what's the Europa League, right? Throwing a lot at me today, Mr. Stateside. Totally get you, and I got you, okay? 3 continental tournaments in Europe, okay? The top one, Champions League. That's the big money one. All the eyeballs are on you. Most prestigious. That's the one every player wants to play in. Every coach wants to win. Second, Europa League, right? Historically, extremely relevant. Used to be the highest tier. Now it's the secondary tier, and still has a lot of clout, a lot of financial rewards, but just not the Champions League. And third, the Conference League, right? The lowest tier of continental tournament. Some money, some prestige. Winning it can get you up to the Europa League, just like winning the Europa League can get you at the Champions League. But those are the 3 tiers. They all have varying degrees of financial success involved. And when we're talking about Premier League teams, we need to consider financial success as a key indicator of their ability to keep players and buy new players. So, long segue, just to say a middling team historically found their way to qualify for the second tier continental tournament, allowing them to really fill up their coffers in the process and keep their progress going. What this team may be, winner, I hope, but what's their name? It's Crystal Palace, right? If they can hang on to their players, unfortunately, to get even more into the weeds here, they did run into an unfortunate ruling that removed them from the Europa League and brought them down to the Conference League. So they lost some money in that process, probably about tens of millions of pounds, euros, dollars, whatever you prefer. And losing that money will restrict them from holding on to key players like Eze, a player that may want to play in the Champions League, may want to get paid millions more dollars, right? See the success that he's bring to a team and want a financial cut in that. So there is some trepidation. There's not a lot of signings going on with Crystal Palace right now. They did win the FA Cup, beating Liverpool. No, they didn't. They won the FA Cup, beating Man City. They won the Supporters Shield, beating Liverpool. Two powerhouses. One very important trophy. One not important but relevant to a middling team trophy. And I think that they're moving in the right direction. So if this team can stay as currently constructed, they've been on a generational heater, and I think they've got something to build on and give them confidence, and hopefully get in a place where they will be able to qualify for the Europa League on their own merits and really change the story when it comes to a previously middling team. So 8th place, that'd be great for Crystal Palace. Hasn't happened. That's my hipster pick. So take it for what you will. I'll be watching.
Yeah, man, what the hell's a fullback in sockball?
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Join me next time, and we'll be breaking down the Week 1 recaps of those top 3 and bottom 3 teams. We'll be unveiling our official Premier League tiers, including our Hate Watch tier. I know you're going to love that. We'll be keeping a close eye, as I said, on the race for the top 3, bottom 3 throughout the whole year, right? It's going to be fun. It's going to be fluid. But until then, stay safe. I'm your host, Zack, a.k.a. Mr. Stateside, and hope you'll join me next week.
Football. Football. Football.